So the Denver Nuggets won game three. I honestly thought this was gonna happen, especially after Miami took one in Denver. It seemed very hard that Denver was gonna lose two in a row, especially to Miami. Like Miami plays hard and they're good, but let's face it, they're probably not winning this series just off of talent and how good Denver is. In this game, I will say that the biggest thing for Miami was just efficiency. They played a lot like they played in the Knicks series, but in Miami always finds a way to put up numbers, even if it's shooting terribly and a lot of shots. But this game, it just seemed like they were out of rhythm for most of it. Like they were taking four shots and like their offense just wasn't working. This mixed with phenomenal games like a 32 point, 20 rebound, and 10 assist game by Jokic with two blocks and only three turnovers, shooting 50% from three, hitting all but one of his free throws, and having a above 50% field goal percentage. Like he went insane. And Jamal Murray had his redemption game when with a near triple double. He was one rebound away, and I don't know if he's gonna get it by the end of the game. If he'll just cheese that rebound just to get the triple double. I doubt it because he's not like that. But and he had 10 assists, 2 and 28 points on phenomenal shooting, shooting 3 of 6 from 3. The only problem with him was the turnovers. And in my opinion, the biggest thing this game is just it looked like Miami wasn't breathing. It looked like they weren't breathing as a team. Like individually, they were just struggling. And it really seemed that for most of this game, and especially for the game as a whole. Oh, by the way, Jamal Murray just got 30 points. It seemed that for the game as a whole, just Denver was getting every single rebound. This has a lot to do with Jokic and Aaron Gordon, who were hounding the boards. But in my opinion, just this discrepancy of 54 rebounds to Denver and 32 rebounds to Miami is insane. And in my opinion, that just really shows who controlled the game. They controlled the tempo. They had 8 more assists, right? Even though they had more turnovers, it was just turnovers due to mistakes. It wasn't really like they were getting forced. And Miami's defense just looked like they couldn't figure out Nikola Jokic for most of the time. They shot 51% from the field, and yeah, that's awesome for Denver, but the real key for them was how much they got to the line in this game. Miami did too, but Denver got 21 free throws this game, and subtracting the 2 which they got at the end of the game, they got 19 free throws, and that's just a lot, The Heat had 20 personal fouls, they had 2 more than Denver. And even though, yes, the Heat played a good defensive game when it came to team defense and managing to cause turnovers, it just looked like the offense was forced all the time. I want to talk about Jimmy Butler because, in my opinion, he's been extremely underperforming for a superstar. Like, I understand that we can't expect him to drop 56 points normally or 35 points in the game winner and just be that guy every single game. But we could definitely expect him to at least, drop some 30 balls and, have games where he's doing more than expected, especially a game at home. I also want to talk about Bam, who was getting a lot of Finals MVP rumors, like if the Heat won this series because we won last game. And now he has 22 points, 17 rebounds, but on 7 for 21 shooting. And if you watch the game, then for most of the time he looked like he was getting cooked by Jokic, and he looked gassed when he was coming up and down the floor. I want to talk about Gabe Vincent and how horrible he was. He had 0 assists, and he had 0 rebounds, and he had 7 points on 20% from the field and 1 of 6 from 3. Also, I want to talk about that for a lot of the love that we give these role players, they were off this game, and I don't understand why Duncan Robinson didn't get more minutes. He only got 13 minutes, and he shot 3 of 4 from 3. And yes, I like that he's making the most of his opportunities, but let's face it, in most of these clutch situations, we need all offense because we could play defense and we have the right coach to put the right defensive sets out there. But when we can't play offense, then we're not hitting. I want to say that Caleb Martin was pretty good. He was good. Like he was the best that you can expect from him when everyone does so trash. He had a -1 plus minus, which was one of the best. The only bettered by Duncan Robinson for everyone who got substantial minutes. And in my opinion, it just looked like this game nothing was hitting for the Heat. They shot 39% from the field and 34% from three. And even their free throws, they got 19, but they were hitting 79% of them. They had 4 turnovers and they had 20 assists. They played a phenomenal, like ball movement game when it came to just making the right passes and not turning the ball over. But the problem was that ball wasn't movement. It wasn't moving, and the offense got stagnant in the third quarter. In the first two, they were keeping up with Denver. They were close. They were only had like a 7-point differential. But in that third quarter, Denver went and kept scoring and scoring. And even if they had a rough patch, then they found something to fall. And it seemed like in a point of a game, right, Denver would just always make the shot when they were coming down, no matter if Miami made it or not. And this caused secretly Denver to get like a 15-point lead just off of 2-pointers and effective offense. Meanwhile, Miami was trying to hit threes. They were, using screens that Jimmy Butler, Kevin Love, where Kevin Love missed 2 threes straight. And Jimmy Butler was doing a lot of driving kicks. And in my opinion, this whole scheme that the Heat are running is good, but they can't get guarded like this. The Heat play best when they have a lot of shooters, when their offense is free-flowing, and when they have control of the possessions, where they basically get whatever they want. And that's how their offense should be, because honestly, let's face it, this game, we were running sets with a lot of non-3-point shooters. Like, it would be Bam in the paint, and then we would have Kevin Love, right, who shot like horribly in this game, right? Who shot like, what did he shoot? Well, I mean, not horribly, but he shot a pretty underwhelming performance. And we'd have like Kevin Love out there, Gabe Vincent, who absolutely was turned off and had like 3 fouls in the first half. And then we have like Caleb Martin out there. And even though that's a good lineup, like just making that adjustment of like bringing out Gabe Vincent and bringing in Duncan Robinson, in my opinion, could have helped space that floor out more, because when guys don't hit shots, you could like cover them and just, it doesn't matter who's on them. They're like, you just force them to make it, because it's like, oh, you haven't made it all game. Let's see what you can do. And in my opinion, I just believe that doing that for Miami was the problem. The biggest problem was just that their defense, and like Denver's defense, was too much for them. Denver played a smart game. They played a better coached game, if we're being honest. And in my opinion, it didn't look like Miami was actually getting good, solid offensive sets normally. It seemed like when they were running fast breaks, Denver's legs just went faster. When they were going up to shoot the ball, it seemed like Denver's defense was better. And in the end, Miami had to resort to fouling and to giving up a lot of rebounds, just because in the end of the game and throughout it, Denver was just being so much more dominant with their possessions. In the end, Jamal Murray got a 34-point triple-double. Oh, good for him. In the end, he did get that rebound. But in my opinion, we just have to look at this game and be like, Miami needs to be better offensively. I still don't think that they can win this series, and this comes from a fan. I love Miami, I love the culture, and I love how far we've made it. But I believe that if we just take a few games, then I'll be happy. I mean, of course I won't be as happy, but I don't think we're winning this. And let's see what happens in the next game in Miami, because if we keep going like this, then Denver might have an easy road to a championship. But let's see what happens, and if Miami can figure it out for the next game 4, which I think is on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday. Let's see what happens.